My name is Emma. I am 29 years old. I am a teacher. I live in a small, quiet town where nothing big ever happens. The streets are calm, the trees whisper in the wind, and people know each other's names. I live in a small apartment near the college where I work. I teach English. I like my job. I like reading novels, marking papers, drinking tea in peace. I like quiet things. But I do not like love. Not anymore. I used to. When I was younger, I believed in it. I believed love was kind, gentle, soft like spring mornings, and warm like sunlight through curtains. But I was wrong. My last relationship took that belief and broke it. It ended badly. It ended with tears, silence, and a feeling of being invisible. I told myself I would never feel that way again, so I built a wall, a tall wall around my heart. I told myself, just work, just teach. Do not look at anyone that way. Do not let anyone look at you like that. Just live. That is enough. And it was. For a while. Then Jake walked into my classroom, and everything changed. He was young, only 20. He had soft brown hair, quiet eyes, and he always listened in class. He sat in the front row. He was calm. He never spoke too much, but when he did, his words were kind. He always looked like he was thinking gently about something. I noticed him on the first day. I didn't want to, but I did. Something in me turned, moved, woke up just a little. I ignored it. I told myself, he is just a student. Do not think about it. Do not look at him. But my heart did not listen. Every morning I waited for him. Even though I told myself I wasn't waiting, I looked for him. I wanted to see if he smiled, and he always did, a small, soft smile like he was happy just to be there. One day, after class, he came to my desk. I was fixing papers, trying to look busy. "Miss Emma," he said softly, "do you need help with the books?" I looked at him. His eyes were calm, and something in them felt safe. "No, thank you. I can carry them," I said. I tried to sound strong, but he didn't move. "It's okay," he said. "I want to help." I let him help. We walked together to the teacher's room. We didn't talk much, but it didn't feel awkward. It felt peaceful. His presence felt quiet and kind. It was a nice feeling. Too nice. That night, at home, I sat in silence. I had a cup of tea in my hands. I looked out at the window where the sky was dark and soft. I thought about Jake. His gentle smile, his quiet eyes, the way he didn't try to be someone he wasn't. And I said out loud to myself, "Stop it, Emma. He is a student. This is not right." But even saying that did not quiet my heart. The next day, I saw him again. And the next. And every day, the feeling grew stronger. I tried to avoid it, but it didn't help. It felt like trying to stop the wind. Weeks passed. The feeling felt deeper, heavier, harder to ignore. One afternoon, Jake stayed after class again. Students left one by one. The room became quiet. He stood near my desk, looking unsure. "Do you need help with something?" I asked. "No," he said softly. "I just want to talk." "Okay," I said, trying to sound calm. "What do you want to talk about?" He looked nervous but sincere. "I like this class," he said. "I learn a lot here." I smiled. "I'm happy to hear that." He hesitated, then he looked into my eyes and said quietly, "You are a good teacher." My chest felt warm. "Thank you," I said. Then he softly said, "You look nice when you smile." My heart jumped. I didn't know what to say. My breath caught in my chest. I looked away. "Jake," I whispered, "I am your teacher. You must not say things like that." He nodded. "I know. I just wanted to say it." He left. I sat down. My hands trembled. My heart pounded. What was I doing? I was supposed to be strong. I was supposed to stop this, but I didn't. The next day, I tried to be normal. I taught. I spoke to the class. I smiled. But inside, everything was changing. That afternoon, I walked to the cafe near the college. Jake was there. He saw me and waved. I hesitated, but walked toward him anyway. "Can I sit with you?" he asked. I wanted to say no, but I didn't. "Yes," I said. We sat. We drank tea. We talked about small things. He asked me about my life, and for some reason I told him more than I planned to. I told him I live alone. I told him I like reading books. He told me he also lives alone. He said, "I don't have many friends, but I feel happy in your class." I looked at him, and for a moment, I felt something I had not felt in a long time. I felt seen. "Jake," I said quietly, "please understand, we cannot be friends. You are my student." He looked sad. "I understand," he said. "I just like talking to you." That night, I could not sleep. I walked around my room. I looked at my empty couch, my silent phone, my quiet apartment, and I understood something. I was lonely. I was not wrong for feeling lonely. I was alone for too long, and Jake, he made me feel like I mattered. But I still knew it was not right. Not while he was my student. Days passed. Feelings grew. I tried to bury them. I failed. One rainy Friday, the class ended early. Most students ran outside. But Jake stayed. The classroom was quiet, except for the sound of rain tapping the windows. He stood at the door and said softly, "I don't want to hurt you. I just want to be honest." "Please," I whispered, "don't say anything more." He stood there looking at me with quiet eyes. "I think about you every day," he said. He left before I could speak. I locked the classroom, walked to my car in the rain, sat inside, and cried. I felt weak. I wanted to be strong, but I was not. I wanted to see him again. That night I sat by the window with tea, watching the rain, and I thought of him, his voice, his kindness, the way he looked at me like he saw me. My heart whispered, maybe this is love. But my mind said, this is wrong, and both were true. The next day, I walked into class. Jake sat in the same place. He looked at me. He did not smile. He just watched. I gave the lesson. I tried to be strong, but my heart was not quiet. After class, he stood by the door. I knew he would. I walked toward him. "Miss Emma," he said, "can we talk?" Only silence filled the room. "I'm sorry," he said. "I didn't want to make you sad." "You didn't," I whispered, "but this is hard." He nodded. "I know. But I can't stop thinking about you." I looked down. My breath trembled. "You must focus on your future," I said. "This will only hurt both of us." He looked at me, and his eyes were full of quiet pain. "I don't want to hurt you," he said, "but it hurts to keep quiet." I had no answer. I walked away. That evening, my soup got cold on the table. My heart felt heavy. I thought of him, of all the things he said, but more than that, I thought of how I felt. Seen. Heard. Not invisible. The next week, he waited at the college gate. I tried to walk past, but he spoke. "Just 5 minutes," he said. "Please." We sat on a bench near the trees. The air was cold. The wind was soft. "I don't want to be a problem," he said. "I just want to know what you feel." I closed my eyes. I could not lie. "I don't know," I said softly. "I don't want to feel this. But I do." He looked surprised. Then a small smile appeared. Not a happy smile, a fragile one, like he understood. He said, "What if we wait? What if we do nothing now, but after the class ends, we talk again?" His voice was calm. I looked at him. He was serious. He was not a boy in that moment. He was a young man with honest eyes. "After the class ends," I said, "you will not be my student." He nodded. "I will be just Jake." I stood up. "I need to go." "Will you think about it?" he asked. "Yes," I said, and I did. Weeks passed. We said nothing after class, but the silence was different now. It was full. It was waiting. Then the last day of class came. I said goodbye to all my students. They clapped, they smiled, they said thank you. They left. Except Jake. He stayed. "So, it's the last day," he said. "Yes," I whispered. "You are not my student now." A small smile. "No, I'm not." We walked outside. We sat on the same bench. He looked at me. "I still feel the same." I nodded. "I still feel it too." He took a slow breath. "Maybe we could talk. Outside of class. As people." "Well," I said softly, my voice shaking, "maybe we can meet for coffee." "Not now," I added. "Maybe next week." He nodded. His smile was small, peaceful, hopeful. "Next week." A week later, I waited at the cafe. My hands held a warm cup, but my fingers felt cold. I watched the door. Then he walked in. He smiled. I smiled. "Hi, Emma," he said quietly. It felt different. It felt real. "Hi," I said. We sat. We talked. Not about rules, not about right or wrong, but about life. His life, my life, our fears, our hopes. He told me about his part-time job at a bookshop. I told him I planned to visit my sister. We laughed. We felt calm. It felt normal. Before he left, he asked, "Can we meet again?" I waited a few seconds. Then I said, "Yes." And we did. We met again. And again. We walked in the park. We watched movies. We talked about books. He listened. He always listened. I began to smile more. He was not just someone I liked. He was someone good. Someone kind. But I was still afraid. I didn't tell anyone. Not my friends. Not my colleagues. Not even my sister, until one day I did. She listened. She looked at me for a long moment. Then she asked, "Are you happy?" I said yes. She said, "Then that's what matters." I felt light. Like something heavy finally fell away. Weeks passed. We did not make big promises. We did not rush. We lived slow, one day at a time. One afternoon he came to me with flowers. "Their color reminded me of you," he said. "They looked happy." I laughed softly. "Thank you. They're perfect." He said, "You look happy too." I said, "I think I am." We sat under a tree. The sun was warm. "I know I am young," he said. "I don't know everything, but I know this. I care about you." My heart felt full. I said, "You make me feel seen. You make me feel like I matter." He held my hand gently. "That's how you make me feel too." The sky turned gold. The air was warm. The world felt quiet. For the first time in a long time, I was not lonely. I did not know what the future would be. Maybe we would stay together. Maybe not. But for now, we were real. We were honest. And we were happy. Sometimes life doesn't follow the rules. Sometimes love comes at the wrong time. Sometimes it looks strange from the outside. But sometimes love just happens, and it changes everything. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, comment, and share. More emotional and inspiring stories are coming soon. The weeks that followed felt different. There were no secrets anymore. No classroom boundaries, no unspoken fears. Just two people learning about each other, one step at a time. Jake no longer called me Miss Emma. He called me Emma. Sometimes quietly, sometimes with a smile. I was getting used to it. I liked it more than I wanted to admit. We met every Saturday at the little lakeside cafe. It had old wooden chairs, soft yellow lights, and the smell of cinnamon. It felt like the kind of place where time walked slowly, where moments stayed longer, where words felt softer. I used to come here alone. I used to sit with my book and tea, quietly watching people. But now, Jake sat across from me. And somehow, the cafe felt warmer. "Tell me something real," he said one day. "Not your polite answers. Something true." I thought for a moment. Then I said, "I am scared." "Of what?" "Of trusting," I said slowly. "Of letting someone in." He nodded, listening. My last relationship broke me in places I didn't know could break. After it ended, I stopped hoping for good things. I just decided to feel safe. Not happy, just safe. He was quiet for a moment. Then he said softly, "Do you feel safe now?" I looked at him. When I'm with you, I feel safe. But I also feel something else. I feel awake. His eyes softened. He didn't say much. He didn't need to. Sometimes the right people do not fix you. They simply sit beside you until you find the strength to fix yourself. Jake was like that. One afternoon, we sat in the park near an old oak tree. The grass was soft and the wind carried the smell of rain. Jake looked at the sky, then at me. "Do you think this is real?" he asked quietly. "What do you mean?" "Us. Is this something real, or are we just," he paused, "borrowing happiness?" His words stayed in my mind. Borrowed happiness. I looked at our hands resting on the bench. Close, but not touching. "Maybe love always feels like borrowed happiness in the beginning," I said, "because it doesn't belong to us yet. We haven't earned it. We haven't grown into it." He looked thoughtful. "So how do we make it ours?" he asked. "Time," I said. "We wait. We stay. We choose it, even when it scares us." He smiled slowly, like the sun coming out from behind a cloud. "Then I choose it," he whispered. But real life is never just soft moments. One evening, I received a call from the department head. She asked if I could return to college the next day. There were concerns. Someone had seen Jake and me at the cafe. Someone had talked. My heart felt heavy, not because I had done something wrong, but because I knew people would never understand the way it happened. Quietly, carefully, honestly. The next morning, I sat in her office. She spoke kindly but firmly. "Emma, you are a good teacher, a respected one, but you must be careful. People talk." I understood. She wasn't cruel. She was concerned. "Jake is no longer my student," I said calmly. "I know," she replied softly. "But in this town, people don't care about timing. They care about stories." Stories. The same stories I taught in class. The same stories I loved. But now, I was inside one. And it wasn't simple. That evening, I texted Jake. "Can we meet? At the lake?" he replied. "I'll be there." The lake was quiet, reflecting the pale evening sky. He was already there, sitting on the grass. I sat beside him. He looked at me, waiting, not pushing. He had learned I speak slowly when my heart is full. "People are talking," I said, "about us." He nodded. "I knew they would," he said. "I don't want this to be hard for you," I whispered. He turned to me. "Emma, everything important in life is hard." I looked at him. "I'm not afraid of them," he said. "I'm only afraid of losing this. Losing you." The wind moved gently through the trees. "I don't want to lose it either," I said, and for the first time, I leaned my head on his shoulder. It felt like choosing. Weeks passed. We stopped hiding, but we didn't show off either. We walked slowly. We built something quiet and kind, like a small garden between two hearts. Sometimes we didn't have to speak. Sometimes silence spoke for us. One evening he asked, "Do you still feel scared?" "Yes," I said, "every day." "But," I added, "I'm learning to feel brave too, because something good is growing, and I don't want to run away from it." He looked at me for a long moment. Then he gently took my hand and said, "We can be scared and still move forward." That was the night I understood something important. Love is not fearless. Love is learning to walk together, holding hands, even when both are shaking. We did not rush. We did not make big promises. We did not say forever, but we said, "Let's try." And sometimes that is more beautiful than forever. One morning, I woke up, looked at my quiet little home, and realized something. I did not feel lonely. For the first time in years, my heart felt like it had someone to sit with. Someone who stayed. Someone who listened. Someone who waited. Sometimes love is not loud or dramatic or fireworks. Sometimes love is just a quiet presence that says, without words, I'm here. The first time I truly believed this might last was not during a romantic moment, not during a quiet walk or a sunset, or even when Jake held my hand under the soft sky. It happened on an ordinary Thursday morning. I woke up, made tea, opened the windows, and for the first time in a very, very long time, I felt peaceful. Not excited, not anxious, just peaceful. Peace is a quiet feeling. It does not shout. It does not rush. It simply stays. Love, when it is real, often feels like that. That evening, I decided to tell my sister everything, the real way, not with fear, not with shame, just honestly. She lived about an hour away, in a small house with flowers by the door and a cat named Oliver who liked to sleep in windows. I took the train after work. The sky was pale orange, the air cool. She was waiting for me at the station. As soon as she saw me, she smiled. The kind of smile that says, I know something has changed in you. You look different, she said. How? Like you're carrying something softer. We walked to her house. She made tea. I sat at the kitchen table. I watched Oliver jump up on the windowsill and curl into a ball. Everything felt gentle. Then, without rushing, without fear, I told her. I told her about the loneliness. I told her about the quiet mornings where the only sound was my own heartbeat. I told her how I stopped expecting good things. I told her about Jake. Not about his age, not about forbidden things. I told her about how I felt seen, heard, understood. She listened. She did not interrupt. She did not judge. Finally, she asked only one question. Does he make you feel like yourself? I didn't answer right away. I thought carefully. Then I nodded. Yes, I whispered. She smiled. Then it's not wrong. I looked at her. But people will judge it. People will talk. She nodded. People talk about everything, but happiness usually stays quiet, and maybe that's why people don't recognize it when they see it. Something inside me felt lighter, like I had been holding my breath for months, and finally I exhaled. She reached across the table and held my hand. Emma, she said softly, not everyone finds a love that listens. If you found someone who listens, don't let go too quickly. She didn't say be reckless. She didn't say ignore the world. She said listen to the truth. Sometimes love doesn't need a loud yes. It needs a quiet, honest one. When I came back home later that evening, I opened the windows and let the cool night air fill the room. I made tea, sat at my table, and something felt different. Not because the world had changed, but because I had. I was not hiding anymore. I was not afraid of my own feelings. I was not trying to run from happiness. Maybe that is how healing starts, when you stop arguing with your heart. That weekend, Jake and I met at the park. The weather was calm. Soft sunlight touched the leaves. Children played nearby. The world felt ordinary, and for the first time, ordinary felt beautiful. He sat next to me. You look different, he said. How? Like you stopped fighting something. I didn't say anything. I just looked at him. He looked calm. He always did. I asked him a question. Why me? He smiled, gently, without rushing. Because you don't pretend, he said. Most people try to be louder, funnier, stronger, more confident, more interesting. But you don't try to be anything. You are real, he said. Sometimes the most beautiful thing about love is when someone sees what you don't show loudly, the quiet parts, the tired parts, the hopeful parts, and instead of turning away, they stay. Over the next few weeks, we settled into something steady. We did not rush. We did not force. We simply grew. We met at bookstores. We walked quietly in the park. We talked about things that actually mattered. Not big promises, not dramatic statements, but real ordinary questions. What is your favorite memory? What made you feel understood? What made you feel lonely? What does love mean to you? Now, not in stories, not in movies, not in dreams, but now. Those talks were not perfect. They were not cinematic, but they were honest. And honesty is where real love lives. One evening he asked, "Have you stopped being afraid?" I smiled a little. "No," I said. "But now I am not afraid to feel afraid." He nodded. He understood. Sometimes love is not about erasing fear. Sometimes it is about learning to walk with it without running away. We did not know what the future held. We did not know if we would face judgment, challenges, or distance. But that night, under the quiet sky, we agreed on one thing. We would not hide from what felt real. Not anymore. Because sometimes the bravest thing you can do is not fight love. Sometimes the bravest thing you can do is simply allow it.